Greetings, Arinome here. Welcome to the video. So for this video, I had like a whole thing written up and then I tossed it out so that I could talk about fictional lakes. Let's get painting. So I was thinking about lakes, obviously, because this painting features a big lake, and I remembered two fictional ones in particular. One is the lake of the Lady of the Lake, where she hangs out and occasionally hands somebody a sword. That's cool and all. I don't have a problem with her. I do wonder sometimes if, like, the lake water ruins the sword, or if she's only keeping it in the lake for a little bit of time when she knows someone is coming, or if she has magic to protect the sword. But I am not an expert on sword resting, so I'm not going to talk about that much more. That's like over. That's my one thought. The other lake I thought of, though, is the lake from the fourth Pokemon movie, Pokemon Forever. That movie has Celebi and Suicune and Tyranitar and a bunch of Johto Pokemon. And I like Johto Pokemon a lot, so that means I'm gonna just rant about Pokemon now. Too bad. So, of all the Pokemon regions that I played through, which is up to Alola, I think the Johto Pokemon are like some of my absolute favorites for their designs. Each generation has like cool Pokemon. I'm not a hater or anything. I just find Johto to be the most interesting. So first up, obviously, as I mentioned, Celebi and Suicune are in the movie, and they're just like some of my favorites for mythical and legendary Pokemon. Celebi has those really big, cute eye rings. I just love them, and Suicune goes hopping around majestically. But then, as I was working on this video, I had so much trouble picking just a few nice Johto Pokemon. There's Macargo and the Cyndaquil line. My favorite is Quilava, and they just like leak fire, which is interesting to me. They are just leaking fire. It is crazier than like the Charmander tail situation. So then we have the Hoppip episode with Oddish, and like that just gives me such a soft spot for Hoppip, even though Hoppip is kind of useless. And we have Spinarak, the only spider I think I care about, and it can't smile, which is so sad. Misdrevious has that really cool necklace and hair thing going, and it just seems like it'd be floating around right at home on top of Mount Pyre in Hoenn, even though it's a Johto Pokemon. Murkrow is a crow, but then mixed with a witch, and that is just so great. I love that. Ferret is such a long boy. Such a good long boy. Xatu has this like wonderful mystical energy that I think goes really well with the unknown. I want to hug Teddiursa. Sneasel is just such a perfect little thief. Wooper. And then there's Gligar. Look at that tongue. Why does she need this tongue? Why is she a ground flying type? And then there's my super duper favorite, Flaffy. Just the cutest sheep. Absolutely the best. Sorry, my voice cracked. Maybe Pokemon has like dipped their toes back into this since I moved on, but really I have only ever cared about what the Pokemon are up to in Pokemon media. Like, the humans are whatever to me. I just loved those Pokemon only shorts before the movies that they had, especially with like those earlier movies. I think there's one where they play hide and seek or something. I loved that. And the Mystery Dungeon series as well is like just something I love because I just want the Pokemon. I don't really care about what the humans are up to most of the time. Please tell me I'm not the only one who's like this. I can't be. Anyways, back to the fourth movie. I think the reason I like it so much is that Celebi is in it, and Celebi is just this adorable, precious onion fairy. You know, and you've got Suicune hopping on the water of the lake, purifying it, which is so cool. Tyranitar really plays its role well. It just causes destruction. I think that's sort of perfect for Tyranitar, right? And on a side note, I loved Larvitar's eyeliner and that goofy tail, and I always thought Pupitar was kind of cool as a kid. Now, did I ever find them in a game, DS? No, absolutely not. So, yeah, I think it's that lake in the fourth Pokemon movie that got me on this rant while I paint a real lake. I mentioned in my Duck Lake video that I always wonder what animals are doing, like on the other side of lakes. And I think it's probably because of that fourth Pokemon movie. You watch it as a kid, and the forest is like this wonderful, big, expansive place, and you just want to run around in it and find all kinds of things, right? Compared to the games, when I was a kid, you were pretty stuck. There was like some places you could go to, but you know, the map had its limits. So I really liked that the movie gave me this idea of what would be off the map. All the wild Pokemon you don't need to catch, you don't need to fight, you just want to see them. So, thank you for letting me just rant about Pokemon. Well, you didn't let me, you just sat here and listened, so thank you. Let's take a look now at the final product.